Hello, Fast Slow Motion, and welcome to your implementation guide. In this guide, I will walk you through your very own custom implementation with all its points we had discussed last week on our previous call. I decided to keep this implementation simple, but I'm sure you will be impressed with just how robust Salesforce as a platform is and all the customizations we were able to make in accordance with your specifications. Without further ado, let's get started. Before we begin, I wanted to briefly take the time to introduce myself to some on your team who may be watching this and I haven't had the privilege of meeting yet. My name is Jeremy Rivera. I'm an 8 times Salesforce certified implementation specialist. My professional education was in both software development and public speaking. I fell in love with Salesforce as a platform and decided to continue my professional development in that ecosystem. I currently live in sunny South Florida with my wife and 2 dogs. Enough about me. I wanted to also point out that this presentation will be an interactive one. At times, I will present with slides, but will also change to a screen view so that I could present to your organization's Salesforce with the eyes of a user. I'm going to often throw out some common questions a user may have and answer them during our demonstration. Remember that this instance of Salesforce is yours, so whatever you see me doing within it is exactly what you can expect to see once you're inside yourself. You will be able to watch this presentation as many times as you need in order to get comfortable maneuvering through it yourself. So for our program agenda, we will begin with an overview of the project's requirement, namely managing leads, converting those leads over to accounts, opportunities, and contacts, how those differ, what to do with those opportunities upon lead conversion, the creation of a custom project object upon the successful completion of an opportunity, tracking key entities such as referrals and competitors, and then finally our conclusion. Remember, since this is an interactive presentation, fully expect these sections to have a demo portion explaining the custom features for your Salesforce org. As discussed briefly in the previous slide, we wanted to reiterate all of the requests so that they were given their own proper attention. The goals received were to track marketing leads and sales opportunities, to automate project creation from closed-won opportunities, to manage different entities such as clients, competitors, and referral partners, and then altogether to simplify a user's experience for the sales team. Let's start with leads. What exactly is a lead? In Salesforce, a lead represents a potential customer or an individual who has shown interest in your company's product or service, but has not yet been qualified as a sales opportunity. So leads are unqualified prospects. They need to be assessed to determine if they are a good fit for your product or service. Let's see leads in action within your organization, and let's see what information we chose to collect. So as you see, we made our way to the Salesforce login, and my information is already pre-populated, so I'm just going to log right in. And the first thing you notice is the branding. So we implemented the Fast Slow Motion logo and also Fast Slow Motion's profile picture just so you guys could feel at home and a sense of familiarity and ownership within your organization. Remember, this will be there when you play around within your org as well. When you log in, you're going to get brought into the setup page. So the setup page is an administrator's home. It's what they use to set up all the configuration for your org. So as we already did that right now, I'm going to go straight into the app launcher and click on the sales tab, where the lead and also other sales objects live. When you get to the sales tab, you're introduced to the seller home, and this can be customized user per user basis. So you could customize this to keep track of any and all entities that you want. So you bring your projects here, bring your accounts here. You could look at the estimated closed deals, how much revenue expected to generate. You could bring in even the competitors and some information regarding the competitors, and also some of the relationships that you've garnered, via your referrals or via other relationships, even reviews. We're going to go to the Leads tab, and we get brought to this page right here. And notice here, Referral Leads. And this was set up specifically for this organization. This is what is referred to as a list view. So you have my leads, my important leads, but this list view, again, was brought into this organization because referrals are important to your business. And rightfully so. You guys have a reputation that you guys want to keep, and you want to keep track of those leads that come in via those reputations. And so here is one that popped up for us. And her name is Phyllis Cotton, and she is the CFO of Abbott Insurance. So let us click on Phyllis, and let's see some of the details regarding Phyllis. As you get brought into the lead page, you're going to see a little stage graph here. Open, maybe she wasn't contacted, working, closed, or converted. And these stages have been created so that you could look at her process in the lead pipeline. Let's go back to open just for right now. And as you see here, as we mentioned earlier, referrals are important. So we have a section here, a field, a checkbox, just so you can keep track of if a lead came from a referral or not. And the help text helps out with that. Was this prospect from a referral? So in this case, yes. And then we also have a referral partner. So for a referral partner, we could go to a recently created account. Let's go to Salesforce Helpers. It's a business that helps you guys out by giving you referrals from time to time. And we could go to save. All right, so let's also test out this converted status and see what this does. Do you select converted status? So let's choose to create a new account. She came from Abbott Insurance. An account would be a company that hosts various contacts. And again, we'll go back to the slide and we can discuss this further in detail. So record type of client for this account, right? Because we're going to convert them as a lead and then they become a client. So for the contact, her name is Phyllis Cotton. Again, this is mapped from the name of the lead. And then for the opportunity, you want to be pretty specific with what the opportunity name would be. So I'm going to say opportunity consultation. If you notice on the bottom here, it has what is called a record type. So a record type could change the visual or even some of the fields that get brought in to that object. So for opportunity, I created two record types, consultation and implementation, since those are two of the biggest things that fast slow motion sells and then implements for people. So we're going to click on consultation, and then we're going to click on convert. And then look, your lead has been converted. So our lead, this single object right here, created these three separate objects. And then let's go back to leads and see what happens. So now that Phyllis has been converted to an account, contact, and opportunity, the lead is gone. It mutated. It is no longer here. You can't look at it. If I go to my leads, I have other leads, but you will not find Phyllis. And again, that is because if I search for Phyllis Cotton, she's a contact now. Let's go back to the slides to discuss what that is. Back to the slides. What happened to the lead there? So the lead goes through a process called conversion. So after a lead is qualified, which again, you qualify the lead either through various forms of communication, and you've decided that it is worth pursuing this lead, a common practice and best practice is to convert that lead. And you convert it into these three records here, namely an account, a contact, and optionally an opportunity. We will discuss why it's optional here and discuss also why, since you guys wanted to focus on the sales opportunities, why we chose very much to include them within our presentation. So Salesforce defines an account as something that represents the company that a contact is then associated with. And a contact would be the person whom you've been communicating with. It is probably the most direct transfer of the lead, but the contact can't exist by itself. It has to belong to an account. And then finally, this opportunity. So the opportunities is really a dynamic object. This tracks a potential sale or a deal that you could work with. Since we want to keep track of opportunities, we decided to keep them in. So let's get back to the Salesforce org and we could look at the opportunities and see what information they're keeping track of. Now that we're back in your Salesforce organization, this will begin the second portion of our agenda today, namely the sales opportunity custom, to show you guys exactly what we did. So let's click on Abbott Insurance just because we know we just created that as a consultation record type. And so with the different record types, we have different stages of this process here. So we have discovery, which is you guys have had that contact with that individual and they are in this phase. So after that discovery, perhaps you start planning a proposal and then you send the proposal and then the proposal comes back and perhaps there are some negotiations that take place and then it is eventually closed. So we could change the stage from here or we could change the stage from the top, just like you saw in the lead. And then also when you change the stage, you could also choose to change the probability. The probability could change depending on how confident you feel within the sales pipeline. We could also go into the delivery installation status, right? So if it is negotiation, then perhaps it is in progress. And you could also click on your main competition. We'll get to that soon. Again, there are also some other fields in which you could further customize your opportunity, but I just wanted to show this particular record type, and then I'll also show one that differs. So we could save these. After we're done looking at Abbott Insurance consultation, we could show you another way on how to create an opportunity, and we could create that with the implement record type. Let's do new, select the record type, implementation. Let's do opportunity name. Let's do implementation kings, implementation, just so we're very specific on what we want to do. You can even put a type here, right? So are they existing customer? Let's put a new customer. Lead source. Again, we could put other. And then close date. This is to be determined. And then stage, let's go to prospecting, right? Because they are a new customer. Prospecting, and then the probability changes depending on the stage. Let's put a save. Now that we're in the opportunity implementation kings implementation, the first thing you might notice is that these stages, prospecting, planning, execution, testing, go live, and then close, these are different than those that were contained within the consultation record type. We could actually just check this here. I have a Abbott Insurance popped up, right? Discovery, proposal, sent, negotiation, closed. And then these are different. And implementation typically takes longer than consultation, dependent on many details, of course. But you go prospecting, you're digging with the client, you're planning a solution, you're executing on that solution. Again, before you give it back to the client, then you probably want to do a form of testing just to see everything works. Then you go live. And once you go live and again, you're giving it back to the client, then you could close this particular sales deal. That doesn't necessarily mean that there's no more business to be done, but this particular opportunity can be closed. So again, we have different fields here and we could collect information dependent on that. You could even attach certain things such as files, branding, images that you want to use within that implementation. Right, so if we go to close, we had some very special behavior that was asked to happen once we close this. We click close stage, we're going to do a closed one. After we select closed one, let's go check this projects tab to see if anything happened. And look, we have implementation kings implementation. So we have a project that was created after the opportunity was fulfilled. So that part of the sales pipeline did not just end after it closed one. You typically want to add a project perhaps after, maybe to go in and check, or if the customer really enjoys it, then even add more things such as custom built apps or components, even particular reports. And this project is slightly different from the typical opportunity. So if opportunity is a sales deal, then project could be somewhat of an assignment. So this project was given to Team Alpha. So you could assign it to a different team here. We have Beta, Charlie, Delta, Echo, and Foxtrot, and that could be queued up to a public group or a queue. We won't get into that here, but it's essentially just a group of individuals or users, part of your sales team. And then you can even relate it to other opportunities. Or we know that the opportunity is here, so let's keep it related to the same one. And then we have a project status. So we added these statuses just because you will typically continue dealing with the same customer. So you could go to a new project and perhaps you have different requirements gathering. You collect your user stories, you do another implementation. testing, staging, and production. So let's save that. And if you noticed here, the start date is September 9th, and then the end date was created to be about 60 days after that. So this project, again, the default we put in would be 2 months, and you could change that depending on if the project is larger or smaller. If you remembered from the outset, our program was going to near conclude with our section about entity tracking. But if you've been paying attention, you've seen that a lot of the objects that I've showed you have already been keeping track of those entities' data. Namely, your prospects are the same as your leads, as we brought out earlier in the slideshow. Your client information is being tracked within your contacts objects. Your competitors are being tracked in a custom object, which I will show soon in our demo. And then your referral partners exist as a record type within your accounts, as we've already seen some record types in the opportunities objects. So let's look at these two within your Salesforce org. Back in your org, we're going to go to the Accounts tab. I'm going to click on New, and look, you're going to see Client, Competitor, and Referral Partner. So we have the ability to create a competitor account that we can connect to the competitor's object over here that exists within that tab. But we're going to first create a referral partner, just so you can see. And we created one earlier, if you remember. It was a Salesforce Helpers. So yes, this is a referral partner, which doesn't necessarily have to be a referral. It's just the object which gets acted upon by it becomes the referred party. So again, you could say that this one came by a website. The account name, let's name it Referral Queen. Doesn't necessarily have to have a parent account, and accounts could be somewhat nested elements, so you could have a parent account. Let's say you have Salesforce, and then you have Salesforce EMEA and Salesforce USA. You could have different accounts, depending on territories if you wanted to. Again, you could qualify it. You could hot, warm, cold it if you want to. We don't necessarily have to pay attention to that information at the moment. Just want to go for the required information. So for Referral Queen, let's look at, again, it has all the information you want, and then again, when you connect it to a contact, you could put a referral source and then also connect it to this referral account. And this one, the record type is referral partner. So we wanted an easy way to put your accounts under referral partner accounts, or even your contacts pointing to a specific referral partner account. And so that's one way to keep track of this specific entity. So the next and final thing we wanted to speak about is, other than the projects, which is a custom object created for your organization, we also have competitors, because we have seen that you really wanted to keep track of this information. So let's make a competitor name. I'll just say CompDevil, because we know that that is a bit of a competitive name to it, and you could relate it to an account. So let's say this one was a competitor account. And again, you want to relate it, so you could collect a bunch of information. Okay, for course, and you specify this as none, because they're competition. They're not going to refer anyone to you. I mean, sometimes a competition will, refer every now and then indirectly. And then you can record the phone number, the website, which might be relevant information for you. And then we added these custom fields as well. Competitor strengths and then competitor weaknesses. Maybe they're really good with marketing. And their weaknesses? Don't get blessings, because we know that fast slow motion does. So we could save that. And look, this is a very simple way to keep the competitor data as well as the competitor data within the accounts, right? But we wanted a specific object to separate those concerns. Right? The accounts, they might have a lot more information, and you could even further tailor this, but we wanted to give you a starting point and keep it simple so you could see, again, the robust possibilities that you could create within Salesforce. To conclude, we're going to have some brief parting words just to sum up what we spoke about in this demonstration. We've seen entity tracking, as we talked about with the referral partners, the clients, the competition. We've had a streamlined experience and a custom sales experience, namely with the opportunities. Remember, we had the two different record types, that for consultation and that for implementation. with fields and stages directly related to their respective record types. And then as well as other things such as a custom projects object created after an opportunity goes from a closed one, so that you can attach particular sales teams or groups and queues to that, and then also continue a revenue generation, right? Because after the opportunity closes, instead of creating a completely new opportunity or a deal, we create a project, something that can be attached to a group of users so that, that A team or team beta or delta, they could go in and take care of that client. So we thank you for coming in and choosing us to do your implementation. We hope you enjoyed it. We hope that we could teach you a little bit about Salesforce and also about how we work. And I want to thank Fast Slow Motion for giving me the opportunity for this and hope to see you guys soon. Bye-bye.